Hello and welcome back to another reading. Today is 7/7, the 7/7 portal. And so I thought I would do a bonus reading today just to see how are the energies feeling like for you and what is something that is meant for you to hear at this time today in this blessed portal. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, so today on the 7/7 portal at 1:07 on my clock, we have the Queen of Pentacles here for you. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful representation of this portal. You know, for me, the 7/7, it feels like a very golden portal. I myself am a life path 7, and so I'm curious for you if you have any prominent 7 placements in your numerological chart. But for this, it feels like the gold is really standing out to me here. With the Queen of Pentacles, it feels like this is finding you at a place of really admiring the abundance that is within your life and really calling forth more abundance into your life. Whenever I see this card, I'm often drawn to the environment that this person is in. It feels like a very lush and abundant environment, and abundance in as many forms, right? Like we see a lot of this greenery, this lushness. We have even these beautiful animals here. The lucky rabbit might be something that is salient for you at this time. But even as we're catching this glimpse into someone admiring the pentacle, right? Admiring what this pentacle represents to them. So abundance can present itself in many different ways. For some of us, abundance can be, an abundance of relaxation, of ease. For others, it might be, monetary wealth. Others could be relational wealth, having a family, having safety. It can look so many different ways. So this is catching you at a time where maybe you're admiring the abundance that's within your life, or this is the energy of this portal that you are stepping into this lushness, this abundance of the variety of abundance, if that makes sense. That's a little meta, but hey, we're here for it. So let's go ahead and see what would be helpful for you to hear today. Ooh, little 3D there. Sorry. Okay. So 2 fell out as I was trying to grab those back. So let's go ahead and see what fell in the overlay. We have the Knight of Pentacles. So how interesting that we find you in that energy of the Queen of Pentacles. Perhaps that's the portal that you are stepping into, and this Knight in this overlay position. How cool, you are embarking on this path. So you're not shying away from this portal. Of course you're not. Of course you're not, because you're here. So not shying away from your birthright. That's the message that I'm getting with this, that abundance is your birthright. I feel like sometimes we forget the magic and the play of being in this earth school and recognizing that we get to co-create what we are wanting. And yes, when we entered this incarnation, we may have, agreed to certain life experiences. However, me personally, at this point in time, I don't think that everything is predetermined. I do think that there are some areas for that flexibility, that free will, that is also, I'm getting this image of if we turn this way, a lot of these corridors then shift in their angles. And so regardless of what direction you may take, yes, the corridors may shift, the path may shift, and yet there continues to be this underlying glow of divinity. So recognizing that the path that you're following is ultimately protected. And you get to have some say, right? Like, we can have these desires from a higher perspective. We can have these desires from a human perspective. And when we do that integration work, they're one and the same. So our desires can be those of the highest light as well. So with these cards, both of them coming out in the overlay position as well. So maybe some themes that you're kind of, maybe some themes that are being carried with you as you embark on this journey. It makes me feel like, almost kind of like there isn't a pack. Well, I guess, is that a pack? No, that's not. No. So there isn't a pack, in this like image depiction, but it kind of makes me think of like, what is in your pack that you're carrying with you as you travel down this portal? And it may be that you might be experiencing some burnout or moving towards burnout and really needing rest. And it sounds like you are aware of this. I feel like I'm speaking to those who are pretty aware of themselves, where they're at, emotionally, even healing wise, right? Like where you're at in life in terms of how far you've come in your self-understanding and your healing. And it sounds like you're kind of picking up on the fact that like, okay, I feel myself getting really exhausted. I feel myself starting to go down this path that's not of ease, and instead it might be out of fear or of the shadows of, of neglect, which is interesting because I was going to say, and now the word sacrifice is also coming up, but those aren't the words that I'm necessarily searching for. But it feels like as I'm moving into this darkness of trying to find the word, that those are the words that are appearing, that are passing by as I'm trying to search for the word of scarcity. So those themes might also be present for you at this time, but it's not like those are things that you are like fully experiencing at this time, if that makes sense. It's almost like they're remnants of the past, and perhaps you've been working a lot, been under a lot of stress, and so some of your survival strategies are showing up. Like, okay, I have to really move. I have to do this thing. I have to do the next thing, and I have to like, it's all of those. It's that fast-paced scurry kind of energy, right? And it's just making me think of the lucky rabbit at the beginning. That rabbit wasn't scurrying though. It was hopping. we caught it mid-hop, a really gentle, smooth hop. And so for you, it seems like you're recognizing that like, scarcity is not the frequency that I want to be in. I really want to be in this place of abundance. And so I recognize that what is calling forth to me at this time is grounding. This Four of Swords, it feels like an invitation to ground, an invitation to regulate your nervous system, to meditate, to do some mindfulness activities, just to come back into the present. So that way you can be more regulated and your survival strategies won't be so much at the forefront. Because this is what's kind of signaling to me that feeling of burnout, that being stuck in the mind, again, like you see this, the image, the face here, like being so caught in the mind and in the waters of like past hurts and pain. But that what's showing up for you are old patterns. and you are in this place in your healing that you're recognizing like, hey, I don't want to engage in these old patterns. I thank these old patterns for how they served me, how they helped keep me alive. And I am welcoming something new in. I am embarking on this journey of abundance, and I'm stepping into the 7/7 portal with that. Let's see what else. Ooh, ooh. What do we have here at the bottom? We have breakthrough. So this here, you stepping into this portal, it might be coinciding with a breakthrough that you've recently had in your healing journey. It could also be almost like you breaking through this other layer of yourself. This is actually bringing me to a conversation I had with a friend just yesterday. And I was telling them how, like, this idea that I really love is being able to live multiple lives within one. I'm getting this image of like concentric circles, almost kind of like those like dolls, right? Like where you open it and then there's another doll, and then you open it and then, you know, there's another doll, and then you open that and there's another doll. Something similar to that, but it's almost like these, the word that's coming up is a cosmic egg. Just really interesting. So maybe that's something I'll look more into. But it feels like a series of that. So as you break through one, and then there's more and more and more, and like every time you allow yourself to unfold into the authentic person that you are, like your own authenticity, your authentic light, the more that you allow yourself to unfold, the more of those layers that you break through. And that's what this is making me think of. And even as I picked up the deck, awakening was left below. And so as you're breaking through these layers, you're continuing to awaken to who you are, who you really are. Here we also see creation and light worker. So this is bringing a few different messages here. There could be this reminder, right, that we are co-creators with the light, with source, that we carry this light within us. And as we continue to awaken to our purpose, you know, as we continue to remember why we're here and why we're doing this work, that this healing that we're doing for ourselves, again, is not just for ourselves, like how I offer that reminder at the end of every reading here. It's not just for us. When we're co-creating this reality with source, yes, it may feel at times like, oh, this is like for my humanly pleasure. This might be related to what I had agreed to experience before I incarnated into this lifetime, and maybe many other lifetimes in the past. There's also the sense of like, when we're tapping into our authenticity and we're engaging in this awakening process, we're also helping the collective awaken. And I'm also like, if you look at this image, it looks like this person is meditating, which also feels really related to this Four of Swords card. So another confirmation that this is a time that it feels like your guides are really stepping forward and saying, hey, meditate, get still, because that's how you can access this light even more and be able to receive the messages that you're meant to be receiving at this time. And that'll help you further engage in this co-creation process as you step into this like beautiful 7/7 portal. Because as we already saw, I mean, again, here's the Knight of Pentacles. When we saw the card that we started off with, the Queen of Pentacles, it's very clear that you're stepping into a portal of abundance. So to help aid you in this journey through this portal, your guides are inviting you to please remember that you are a co-creator And it is so important to meditate at this time, to ground, to engage in your mindfulness practices, to even connect with nature, I'm getting. Let's go ahead and see if there's anything here from the Gaia deck for you. Okay, we see here at the bottom of the deck, know that you belong. So this to me is like, again, bringing us back to the collective. Even when it feels like we are alone, we are never alone. This is a reminder to that. Your guides are with you, your spirit team is with you. I'm also getting this energy of acceleration. So it feels as though like you stepping into this portal is an accelerated path. People may view this as like a form of manifestation, right? Like when something is collapsing into your reality, or you are shifting timelines. This could also be quantum jumping. Whatever language that you use for this, basically what is happening today is that there's an acceleration of change happening in your life. And this is related to all of the work that you've been doing on yourself. And again, I'm being brought to this birthright energy. This is something, whatever is happening in your life from this moment forward, like you are shifting rapidly into this next designated space for you. Like there's nothing stopping this. I am getting this like bursting energy. Like it's this portal that you are traveling is very quantum. I don't have the language for it. But it's also interesting too, because here we have the be patient card, right? So to me, this is signaling like, hey, as you feel this energy, you're feeling the energy of this portal, totally okay to get excited. Of course, it's absolutely great to be excited. But with our nervous systems, with our human body, as excitement rises, if we're not able to breathe into it and really hold it, it could end up dysregulating our nervous system. So this feels like another reminder to just like slow down within yourself, because what you are moving through, this portal, is highly accelerated. It is really fast, and you may feel that surge of energy within your body at this time. This may show up as, oh my gosh, yes, I was feeling this energy coming in, and now this is making sense. This may show up in the ways that your body may experience dysregulation. So I think I've mentioned this in another video. I work in mental health. I'm a mental health provider in this channel and in this role. Obviously this isn't therapy. This isn't mental health services. But for those of you who do engage in your own like healing practices and tend to your mental health, that look into trauma healing and nervous system regulation, you may be pretty familiar with this idea of the window of tolerance. And essentially, the window of tolerance speaks to how our bodies respond to stress. And, for people, this may look different ways. And for those of us with trauma histories, this may also make it to where signs of dysregulation may be more present, or might be present more often in our lives if we don't learn how to regulate our nervous systems. So I bring this up because, even as I was mentioning earlier, excitability, if it's not contained and if we're not like remaining to stay regulated, we may then shift into like a hyper arousal state or a hypo arousal state. So meaning we may shift into like this fight or flight or freeze or fawn space. And that seems to be like a really important message to deliver today, because this portal is like so accelerated and there's like so much energy there. Our bodies may be feeling that excitability, and if we don't regulate, we may experience some of those fight or flight symptoms. So some signs of that could be increased irritability, anger, yelling at others, maybe experiencing some panic, maybe feeling tearful, just like wanting to hide or run away. Or we could also experience some hypoarousal symptoms or the freeze or shut down. So this may lead to more dissociation or feeling disconnected, numb, cut off from emotions. So this is also an invitation for you to just tap in, where am I at today? And, am I feeling more irritable? Am I feeling more disconnected? Am I feeling numb, dissociated? Just do a quick check with yourself. And once you identify what you're feeling, that could also help you determine, okay, what am I needing in this moment to help me regulate and come back into my window of tolerance? So some ideas really depends on what you're experiencing. Like if you're experiencing more fight or flight, this could be an opportunity to discharge some excess energy through some somatic shaking, like doing some quick movements, like, sprinting or doing 10 jumping jacks, some push-ups, just like a quick burst movement to let go of that excess energy. And then you can engage in some breathing exercises until you're in your window of tolerance. Then you can maybe engage in some meditation practices. And if you're more in that dissociation or free space, that could be a great time to do some grounding exercises, which essentially is tapping into the present through your senses. So whether that's touch, taste, smell, sight, hearing. Of course, we can talk about those other senses too, like the clairs. But if you do that, that might actually make you feel more dissociated if you're already in that dissociated space. So if you're wanting to return from a dissociated space, engaging through those 5 senses, like I mentioned, can really help with that. And then after you do that, you can then engage in some meditation. But yeah, just see where you are today. And sometimes even just noticing, oh, I'm experiencing some tightness in my chest. I'm experiencing some irritability. I'm experiencing some rumination, whatever it might be. Sometimes noticing it, observing it, and naming it from a non-judgmental place can be enough to help to loosen its grip and help to kind of dislodge whatever is there, whatever density has kind of been trapped in your energetic field or within your energetic body. So that way you can kind of just breathe and allow it to move through you. Because once you're able to then, dislodge that density and breathe and allow it to move through, then your energetic body can help to release it. And even now, feeling that relief with that breath, I'm feeling that in my energetic body in this moment and feeling that slow release through my heart center. So that might be something that is present for you at this time as well. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. Best of luck, going through this portal. It sounds like such a beautiful opportunity. And also, if you're feeling some of those signs of dysregulation, like I mentioned, this isn't therapy, and I'm a big believer in therapy because I myself am a therapist, but also I was a client before I became a therapist. And so I do recommend trying therapy out. And if you have any questions about therapy, in addition to spirituality, please feel free to drop them in the comments. I would just love to hear from you all. I, obviously being still a new creator, I'm still figuring things out. And by the way, shout out to you. I'm sorry that I don't have your name pulled up, but for the person that left a comment to let me know that the volume was really soft. I got this new mic. Obviously, you may have seen this mic in other videos. And then also I realized I ended up upping the volume when I've been editing these videos. And I just listened to it on my computer earlier today and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really loud. So this might also relate to my son being in the 12th house and really trying to embrace my Leo first house stellium energy, of trying to figure out how do I bring my voice from the shadows and the depth of the 12th house, because I also have Mercury there. and being able to like, you know, express a message and use my voice. So from going from really soft to really loud, yeah, I am so sorry for how that may have impacted how that may have impacted you, your hearing. Yeah, I know that louder is probably better than too soft, because then you can actually hear me and you can turn down the volume. But for this video, I'm gonna do my best to adjust it to where hopefully it won't feel as much like I'm yelling at you or shouting at you. So if it's felt like that for the past while, I am so sorry. Again, shout out to the person, and thank you for being here, for being part of this community. And I'm really hoping to kind of move into building a community with you all. And who knows, maybe one day I'll end up sharing my face, and so you'll get to see me and hear more about me. But at this time, hey, it's the 7/7 portal, so I hope you get to celebrate the abundance that you are like moving towards, that you are accelerating towards. So as always, thank you so much for doing this work. You are transmuting these densities, not just for you, but also, like, you know, for those before you, your ancestry, for your lineage. So of course, like physical, ancestral, ethereal, you're doing this for me, and you're also doing this for the collective. So thank you for being here at this time. I'm so grateful to have crossed paths with you and to embark on this journey together. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you soon. Take care.